Alright, so this is the wrap-up video for the Two Writing Teachers blog that I've been following. The main thing that struck me about this blog, not only is it structured very differently, just in terms of the way the website's put together, and also the way in which some blogs are structured, just in the way that the syntax and different things are available. But also, while there are some series on the blog, particularly the Slice of Life Tuesday, maintained by Deb Frazier, where really what she does is sort of share an optimistic meme with a little bit of a reflection and sort of open it for comments and discussion. And some of those comments can become, pretty lengthy in nature and pretty in-depth in their own right. But that series comprises a lot of smaller posts, and it's more geared towards conversation starting as opposed to actually excuse me. Yes, they're a lot more short in nature, and they do seem to be populated by some of the same people as far as the comment section is concerned, which is kind of strange, especially because some of the other content on this website is kind of disjointed. They're certainly similar to the Moving Writers website in the fact that they attempt to focus on practical classroom methods. Excuse me. But, it just kind of seems strange, and some of the things that they put forth just kind of seem disjointed. While it's interesting, for example, just recently there was a piece published on the power of language, and the thumbnail is sort of a brain scan. But that's, that's surrounded by pieces on National Day of Writing and keeping narrative alive, the Slice of Life thing, and then teaching digital schools in the writing workshop. And so, yes, there's that writing theme that sort of goes through everything, but it doesn't seem like things are organized in a very coherent, straightforward series-type nature. Now, there are a few series, but it seems like there's a lot of supplemental content that doesn't sort of fit the series, and it's kind of strange to see so much content on the periphery when the blog is sort of attempting to do the whole series thing, like the Moving Writers blog does. But one thing that struck me as a positive and very unique to this blog is its really in-depth focus on technology and social media. Even on the homepage of the website, there's pieces on technology written, but there are also they also include the Twitter feeds of some of the contributors to this blog. That includes the Twitter of Elizabeth Moore, Betsy Hubbard, and Deb Frazier. And so I guess what that tells me is that these teachers, and this may explain sort of the Slice of Life bit a little bit more, is they're interested in engaging a conversation. They're a little bit less interested in, I think, publishing their own content, and they're more interested in publishing for the sake of entering into a larger conversation. This certainly makes them appear accessible by their readers, and perhaps that could also explain the disjointed nature of the blog, because maybe they're, framing pieces in this blog based on response and based on suggestions, and so perhaps that's the way in which they're deciding to grow the blog in terms of business. But it just seems somewhat incoherent as far as the thematic through line of the blog. It seems a little bit inconsistent. But nonetheless, I enjoyed reading the blog. I certainly enjoy the slices of life and the numerous pieces on writing methods. Again, that's sort of my wheelhouse. That's my desire when I'm looking at education, is not to dive into theory, but to dive into practical advice and engage a conversation with passionate educators. And that is what I see here. I also appreciated the fact that there is a varying length to the pieces here. So, some are a bit longer, some are much, much shorter. But again, it speaks to that whole conversational aspect of their publishing and not so much their desire to produce, deeply theoretical work, which is also something I appreciate. I want to engage in that conversation. I don't always just want to be told what to think. I want to understand the reasons why behind the theory and not just be taught the theory as gospel. So that's sort of my take on the Two Writing Teachers blog, despite the fact that there are 3 writing teachers that are the main contributors to the blog, which I found kind of humorous. And there are much more in the About section. So it's kind of a strange title. But nonetheless, I enjoyed the blog. Second best of the semester, right behind Moving Writers. So thanks for listening to all my reviews and all my ramblings. And I hope you really enjoyed the webcam work this semester. Thanks, Professor.